Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears to some of the travails and tribulations that we go through each and every day and that we see throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. And this is another troubling story straight out of Aurora, Colorado, with a professional person, a married couple, and the husband decides to do something diabolical to his wife. We're hearing way too many of these kinds of stories where people are doing things to their spouses rather than get a divorce. And this one is all about a dentist. Here we go. Witness illness postpones trial for dentist accused of poisoning his wife. Dr. James Craig's defense team also challenged multiple pieces of electronic evidence. The Aurora dentist accused of killing his wife by poisoning her with cyanide and Visine will not go to trial until late summer after the judge granted a motion to continue it Friday morning. Dr. James Craig's trial was set to begin next month, but will now begin on August the 8th. Attorneys for Craig said a key witness to their case suffered a stroke earlier this year and is currently unable to testify as he recovers. Dr. Craig, he is charged with first-degree murder and tampering with physical evidence related to a March 2023 death of his 43-year-old wife, and Miss Angela Craig. Angela Craig died March 1st, 2023, after ingesting lethal doses of cyanide and tetrahydrozoline, an ingredient commonly found in Visine, according to an autopsy report from the Arapahoe County Coroner's Office. Arapahoe. The report also lists arsenic poisoning as a significant condition related to her death. According to an arrest affidavit from Aurora Police, Angela Craig went to a hospital 3 times before her death. She went on March 6th, March 9th, and March 15th after becoming faint and dizzy. The affidavit also says Dr. James Craig used an office computer to research and buy undetectable poisons, and he bought crystalline metaboloid arsenic from Amazon a few weeks before his wife's death. 5 days before her death, the document says Dr. James Craig received a package at his office that was opened by an office attendant who found a biohazard sticker and a circular canister that said potassium cyanide on it. Dr. James Craig's business partner went to the hospital when he learned Angela Craig's condition was grave. According to the affidavit, he told a nurse he believed Angela Craig had been poisoned because her husband had recently ordered potassium cyanide for their dental practice. That resulted in an investigation into her death. And this is where his lawyer challenged some of the evidence. Dr. Craig's attorneys filed numerous motions seeking to have electronic evidence thrown out. Specifically, they challenged warrants for search and seizure of his cell phone, seizure of a laptop, seizure of Computer 9 at Craig's dental office, data associated with a Google email and Google Voice phone number. They argued that the warrant for the phone was bare bones, but the court disagreed and denied the motion related to his cell phone. In regards to the laptop, the attorneys argued that the warrant was for the seizure of a desktop computer and that taking the laptop was outside the scope. The court denied the motion, saying that the warrant was meant to authorize the seizure of computers and that distinguishing between the two was unnecessary. Dr. Craig's attorneys also challenged a search warrant for Computer 9 at his dental office. According to court documents, an employee saw Craig using that computer and told investigators it was odd because he had a computer in his office and a laptop that he would take home. They argued the warrant lacked probable cause, but the court found, based in part on the statements from Craig's coworker, that there was substantial probable cause. His attorney also argued that the search was beyond the scope because it included internet searches rather than just what was on the hard drive. The court found that while some items may have exceeded the scope, the officers acted in good faith and said the items should not be excluded. The challenges over the Google email and phone number were based on the court's finding that the seizure of Computer 9 was unlawful. Since it was legal, those motions were also denied. Dr. Craig is next due in court on April the 16th. It's coming up for a motions hearing. He's being held on a $10 million cash-only bond. Wow, what a story. And for those who follow me, I've done several videos on professionals that have gotten the highest degrees in their profession, lawyers, judges, physicians, dentists, where they have decided they took an oath of office to protect and serve, and in a high position and in high regard, and then they decide to, and this is out in the public, and then they decide in their personal lives, rather than get divorced, and many of them have been men, have decided to kill their spouses, which is tragic. Get a divorce. You're a professional, pay the child support, pay spousal support, and move on. Why would you choose not to do that? Commit a heinous crime like murder and then spend the rest of your life in jail, when for surely this dentist is not befitting for prison, but he will be soon if he is found guilty for killing his wife. I've done videos. A judge in Ohio a few years ago got divorced, and then he stabbed his ex-wife 50-something times in front of their children. I've done stories on a judge in Oklahoma who was texting over 500 times during a murder trial of a 2-year-old to the bailiff, talking about the prosecutor, talking about the witnesses and what they had on, and they were lying. And she got removed from the bench. They were going to prosecute her until she resigned from the bench. What is going on with some of our professionals today? There's a lot of chaos and disruption with our young people today, and I do a lot of videos talking about mental illness. Evidently, this dentist, he may be a killer and a murderer. That's waiting to be seen in the court, but he's definitely have to have some mental illness going on if he thought that the right thing to do was to get rid of his wife in the most heinous way and then think that he could get away with it. They said he had tons of debt on his practice, stressed out. He was also having an affair with another dentist at the time. She said she didn't know that he was still married. So there was all kinds of delusional, chaotic, unbearable things that were going on in Dr. Craig's head and in his family dynamics. And unfortunately, his wife probably was not fully aware that her husband was her biggest enemy. It also goes to show you that one of the top 3 things that you will ever do in your lifetime: find a career, have children, and get married. And hopefully you can marry somebody that you can trust and love till death do us part. And the death do us part should not be your husband or your spouse trying to kill you. This is a very unfortunate circumstance. There's a fine line between love and hate and life and death in today's time, and people are trying to get away with all kinds of crimes. This is very unfortunate for his wife's family and her and the children. and tell me what you think about this case and where it's headed on Dr. James Craig.